Harry. Sure, in this film his acting might seem a bit cringy at times.
No, you've made a mistake. I mean, I can't be a wizard.
But to be fair, this is Radcliffe's first role he'd ever done, so it would make sense that this wouldn't be his best performance. But I mean, he only gets better as the films go on. This film in particular, he seems to reflect that kid who discovers something he never thought he would see. I think he truly is that character that makes us wish that Hogwarts actually existed. Minus the whole forbidden third floor and evil dark forest thing, of course. He's always trying to help his friends, he puts himself in danger for the greater good, and he is just all around a very memorable character. Ron and Hermione. They're interesting in their own respects. Ron becomes friends with Harry right away and seems to have a strong friendship throughout the whole thing, not once backstabbing him or talking behind his back. Hermione plays it a bit different. She's not necessarily friends with Harry right away. It takes a bit of time for her to just drop the whole smartest young witch to ever exist thing. I mean, she's really more of an accomplice for most of the film, and it's not really until after the wizard's chess sequence that she finally considers Harry and Ron friends. Sure, Ron and Hermione bicker at each other all the time, but usually that can result in a friendship, and as the films go on, something more. The main adults. I'm talking about Dumbledore, McGonagall, Hagrid, and even Snape. At the time of the first and second film, you could never see anyone else in these roles. Until movie 3 came along, but I digress. All four play their parts perfectly. It's quite interesting how Snape tricks you into thinking he was out to kill Harry with how he looked and sounded when it really wasn't him. Sure, he may have saved Harry from the cursed broom mishap, but he still doesn't exactly look like someone that can easily have people on his good side. Hagrid, at least in the beginning, is sort of a mentor, and being the first to help Harry discover this new life of his. And sort of being that guy you could talk to about nearly anything. I'd imagine if any regular Hogwarts professor found out that these three went to the third floor, they'd be in serious trouble in an instant. But Hagrid never seems like that guy who's extremely strict. McGonagall, while not in the movie a whole lot, seemed to be the best quote-unquote mother figure for Harry. In the beginning, she's worried about leaving Harry with the Dursleys.
Albus, do you really think it's safe leaving him with these people? I've watched them all day. They're the worst sort of muggles imaginable. They really are.
The only family he has.
But at the same time, she also keeps in mind that she is a Hogwarts professor and needs to discipline students for breaking the rules, no matter how tragic their life has been. And of course, Dumbledore is the wise, old, familiar character who has all of the answers. Who cares if he slips up a bit in a professor's background check? Harry still forgives him, so I guess we should. The atmosphere of the movie. I talked about it a little bit before when discussing Harry, but I feel I should talk about it a little bit more. Again, aside from the whole fluffy and dark forest thing, this really makes you wish Hogwarts was a real place. And no, Islands Adventure does not count as it being real. Honestly, it feels more like an actual vacation from home. Sure, you still have studying and classes to attend, but I personally would feel a whole school year would go by too quickly if I was a student here. Yes, there are a few things that hold even Harry Potter back from being perfect. One of them being too much exposition. I mean, we need to know Harry's backstory, a slight backstory of the Dursleys knowing Harry's parents went to Hogwarts, what the students need when going to Hogwarts, why Harry's wand is so important, the rules of Hogwarts, Dumbledore's foreshadowing of the third floor and Dark Forest, how to make the broom hover, how Quidditch is played, how to do the switch and flick, and so much more. The pacing, at least in the beginning. I can't exactly talk about this too much, but all I can really say about it is we spend at least 15 to 20 minutes with the Dursleys, and right after Hagrid personally gives him the letter and they leave, we never see the Dursleys again. And at the 31-minute mark, Harry is now just at the train station, and almost 39 minutes in, we actually see Hogwarts for the first time. I mean, I completely understand that the stuff with the Dursleys is important to show, but it feels like we spend so much time with them and then suddenly they're just out of the movie. Finally, this is the biggest one for me. Professor Quirrell. He's the biggest problem in the movie because we don't have a lot of time to get to know him. I mean, let's count how many times we actually see him in the movie. And even when he's revealed to be the villain, it's more of a confused response from the audience, mainly because some of us had forgotten about him already. We also never see him teach anything. We see him in a class one time with an iguana or something? He doesn't leave a big impact on the audience, he's not that memorable, and most of all, he's not in the movie for very long. But despite all this, as you could imagine, I don't find this as a bad movie, nor an average movie. It has a timeless feel, it brings back the nostalgia whenever I watch it, and it's what I would consider a 2000s classic. So with all that said, I give Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, after a 3-part review, a 9 out of 10. If only because of Quirrell's lack of screen time and memorable-ity.